Welcome back, everyone. We're going straight into this next map, which will be Tall Dream Altar. Rob, go ahead and introduce our players.
Down in the lower left-hand corner of the screen, right now he is 1-3 in the series, only one game away from being eliminated from the tournament. If you want him to come back and win this, give a cheer for EGHuk! And his opponent, we've seen that he has so many more tricks up his sleeve than we initially said. Representing Complexity, playing as the Blue Terran, give a shout for Hard.
All right, guys, so basically we're about to see if Huk is rattled at all. We got to see what he's going to do here. I mean, he has dealt with so much in that last match that didn't know what his opponent was doing. He tried to kind of mind game it somewhat, canceling that robotic facility, missed that timing, so he's got to be a little bit extra nervous because typically he doesn't miss pylons like that. And I mean, I don't really know what to expect from Huk here, as last game it was kind of uncharacteristic of the Huk we all know and love.
Yeah, I mean, he's just, you know, this is a tough spot to be in. You're under a lot of pressure. You're playing against somebody that's beaten you 3 times out of your last 4 games. And you've tried a plethora of different things against you, and now he's just shown you that he can play with you on an even keel.
Yeah. And, you know, for all the old esports fans out there, this is, of course, like you had mentioned, Complexity going up against Team Evil Geniuses. And Complexity would definitely love the win over Huk here, as that would just be a huge upset. It would really add to that rivalry.
Yeah, it would. Now, what would be even more interesting is that it, you know, worth mentioning, if Hart makes it through this, he's currently on Complexity, he'd have to play against Dong Regu up next.
Yeah, and of course, Dong Regu does have dealings with Complexity there from the MVP team, so that would be a very, very interesting game. That would also mean that the top 3 finish here at MLG would be all Korean. So Huk is basically the last foreigner hope.
That's right. And
which he typically is, to be honest.
Actually, that's happened, yeah, that's happened quite a few times. And now Huk continuing with his just ultimately, I guess, characteristic harassment from his probe. He always likes to get in there and do those cute things, keep you on your toes, make the most use of his units. And now we see the second racks being thrown down, and he's adding on a reactor. Yeah,
so some 2 racks opening here for Hart. And, you know, I don't expect Huk to do anything out of the ordinary. I think he's just going to go straight up for that expansion here pretty soon. He's already starting to save up minerals. He could throw down 2 more gateways, but I think he's definitely will be starting that Nexus. And if this 2x aggression has anything to say about it, he might not do very well with that.
Well, he's getting, so we see Huk is getting out his first Stalker, and he's going to need to get that into Hart's base as soon as possible because he needs this information just so badly. Wow, and we actually have a 3rd barracks being added on. Hart is going to be going all out with this 1-base strat.
Will he start that tech lab there on the 2nd rack? Yes, indeed. So he needs to get those Marauders out. Probably will just go straight for Concussive Shell instead of going for the impact upgrade. Oh, he's actually going to wall off with the bunker here. And we see the probe of Huk is going straight towards it. So he's going to know something is up here in due time.
Well, and so building that bunker just means that Huk's going to get up here and receive essentially false information. He's not going to be able to make it through that wall. And really, Hart building the bunker isn't going to hurt him in the slightest because you can actually just salvage it anyway. And that's going to stop that Stalker from being able to get by and get this so much needed information. And Huk's expansion is still happening, and he's going straight for a Robo.
Yeah, so no more gateway units just now as 2 more gates just have been started here. We have Concussive Shell almost done. Looks like it is time to move out here for Hart. He's not showing the Marauder just yet, though. Only using Marines to try to deal with this Stalker here. Marauder's still in the main base. Doesn't have Concussive Shell just yet, but he is weakening that by about 13 HP. Took out all of its shields as well. Not sure if that was a mistake, though, as now the other Marauder is joining up here for Hart.
Yeah, now Concussive Shell has actually wrapped up, and you can bet that we're going to see Hart move out onto the map because that means that these Stalkers are going to be much, much more useless in this engagement that is just about to happen. Now, Huk's moving a few of his probes out. He's also adding on some gateways, and he's got an Immortal started. If that Immortal's able to finish and he can pick off the Marauders, he'll have a good shot at being able to hold this off.
This attack is going to have to do wonders for Hart because he actually cut SCV production there, only on 18 compared to the 28 of Huk. But here we go, guys, as this, of course, is Tall Dream Altar. These wide ramps do mean that you need a lot more sentries to be able to wall off here.
Oh,
Huk might very well lose this expansion.
Well, now we've actually got the Immortal just about to pop out, but can we see Hart do enough damage to prevent it from even mattering? Now he has just so many units. He's focusing down The sentry does not finish. We see a couple of those force fields down. One of the Marauders is down, some other Marines as well, but the assault continues. He's just about out of shields on a couple of those units. He's obviously not going to stop attacking. We see the reinforcements continuing to come as well. And this is looking very difficult for HUK.
One Immortal, though.
Oh, man, yes, that Immortal is destroying things, and HUK has just about successfully thwarted the attack.
Yeah, that one Immortal really did so well. And also, you know, those force fields, albeit just one force field at a time, what they were doing was bumping up that Marauder to the front of the attack, and it was able to focus it down with that Immortal as well as the additional units. But
oh, man, he also had the Zealots out there, and they were able to make short work of those squishy units.
Heart's not done just yet, though, as Combat Shield is now done for those Marines. Has not started stim yet, and let's take a quick look. Already up to 20 SCVs, so once again, he did have to stop SCV production here. He's going back in, and the second Immortal is still about to pop out in the main base. Looks like HUK's going to fall back to wait for that for just one more second.
Oh, man, and in comes Hart trying once again. He could actually pick off that pylon and do some serious damage to HUK for a little bit, so he won't be able to warp in too many reinforcements. We have HUK continuing the assault, landing 2 money force fields and tearing Hart apart.
And yeah, this force is just throwing so much for Hart here. HUK is continuing to press forward. Meanwhile, back in the main base of Hart, he has nothing else really going for him except for those 3 racks. HUK does have the supply lead 60 to 49. He is in such a great position here as he's trying to get a nice round, but these 2 Immortals are somewhat vulnerable here, but this army is just not big enough to take them out. As there's forces on both sides, he's going to lose this little small force.
Yeah, HUK getting in there for the huge sandwich, eliminating half of Hart's army. Now Hart is going to be moving with the remainder of his units. They're sitting out in the center of the map, but right now HUK actually has the army advantage, so there's not much that Hart's going to be able to do here.
Yeah, now we see the robotics bay has been started, as well as adding on a handful of more gateways, 3 to be total here. And I mean, Hart, he's gonna have to do something soon. He started stim, still no expansion just yet. HUK could really just sit at this Xel'Naga tower, not really force this, and he's gonna be in such a great position.
Oh man, and HUK is actually going to now be able to be on the offensive, just picking off the units, those rallied units, still moving out into the center of the map. Hart did not expect this to happen. Oh, and now we see all of the SCVs pulled. He's going for his last desperate defense. Oh, and HUK surprisingly is actually turning around. I guess as long as he's able to kill those SCVs, could be out on top. He lands down more force fields and takes out most of those SCVs.
Oh, those were so good force fields. They're blocking all of the SCVs back out and leaving all the attacking units on the other side, but he did not kill the remaining SCVs there on the outside, so HUK has fallen back. But meanwhile, that probe is still alive there. And he lands thrown down a hidden pylon.
Yes, he needs to get that pylon up there. HUK just needs to do anything to distract Hart back at home. And really, Hart's entire army is already out on the field. He doesn't have anything that's scouting that right now. Also, unfortunately, that probe was just sitting in the base. We just now see it get taken down as he plants a pylon up in the main. Now, does HUK have enough units? Yes, HUK has so many units in front of his base, so he's going to be able to hold this off while he warps in units back at Hart's base. He's also just finished up his first Colossus.
Yeah, that Colossus, I mean, HUK doesn't need to warp in anything back at home, as with that Colossus, he can just fend off this entire attack here. Those Marines still without stim as it's not done. Hart moving forward here, and the forces have begun warping back at home.
Right.
Good game. HUK has taken this and getting one step closer to coming back in this series.
That's right, so that puts it at 3-2. Now, HUK warped in 6 Zealots up in Hart's main as he was defending that attack, and Hart knew that as soon as he got up the ramp, he wasn't going to be able to push through there. Day 9 and Artosis, what'd you guys think about that one?
Oh man, that was a weird choice there by Hart for the build. It was like very mistimed. HUK went for a fast Nexus, and then he got his Robo before his second and third gates, and he still held it, which tells us there is something very wrong with Hart's build, or something very right with HUK's micro, which, I mean, that he microed very well.
I mean, to be honest, even the second barracks was a little bit late. I mean, ordinarily, the strength of the 2 racks opening is its speed, the speed with which you get the concussive shell, the 5 Marines and the 1 Marauder to the front. But it was delayed, and then the 3rd racks came down, and it looked like Hart kind of wanted to get some units out of that as well before doing the push. So when that second wave push happened and the Immortal was done, Combat Shield was kind of awkwardly midway through. So I think that that's a very solid defensive game for HUK. I don't think that any information, or I should say any meta strategy was employed, like doing some all-in cheese from Hart that was difficult to hold off can give you that psychological damage going into Game 6. But now I think HUK's feeling a little more comfortable, but it is going to be the next 2 map choices for the Terran player if HUK wants to be able to pull through.
Well, guys, the first map choice will be Shakura's Plateau, and we're going to find out exactly how that match will unfold. Game Sip coming up right after this quick commercial break.